Welcome to the Livia Werner frequency, a space where you are called to dream, where you allow yourself to become the woman you feel in your soul and are here to embody. It's about your truth and the courage to listen to it and give it space. This is your reminder of who you truly are. I am Livia Werner. My medicine is embodied wisdom, my stories. I am a line 6 and a line 2, opening spaces where it becomes easy to feel truth and transform shadow. I am because I am, and I share with you what calls me, what reminds me, and what makes me the woman I carry in my heart. Welcome to another episode of the Livia Werner frequency. And I don't know if you can feel this, like it feels like the energy is increasing, because today I have a beautiful guest for us. And today will be about her frequency, the wisdom she brings, quotes she brings, and on Instagram and social media, you find her under the name Jewel Veitch. Please correct me if I don't pronounce it correctly. And I would just love that we can listen to your voice as you say hi.
Hello. It is Jewel Veitch, and I am so happy, truly, truly happy to be having this conversation with you, not knowing how it will unfold, but I feel the unfolding of it. And I have loved our connection from the very beginning. And I believe it's because of this shared frequency, or this these shared codes of the voice, of expression, of the frequency, of the energy inside of the words. And we have, over the last few months, as we've gotten to know each other a little bit on Instagram, discovered that there are some shared life experiences that we've had. And so I really look forward to this conversation.
Yeah, me as well. Thank you for being here. And for the listeners, for Jewel right now, it's 10 a.m. in the morning, and for me it's 7 p.m. in the evening. So I love that we found time to record this and be connected, like all over the world. That's a miracle. It's beautiful that we have this possibility. And to just begin a little bit more tangible, there are few, let's say 2 questions I would love to have you answer it, just that people have an idea of, well, who is Jewel? The first thing is about your beautiful name, because I also think when I got your email, there is actually Julie, when I'm correct. What about the codes in your name? And then also what you do. I mean, it's more about who you are in the conversation we have today, and still this is what gives us a little bit of a direction. What are you doing? Maybe you have a few words to share.
Yes. So I'll start with what I am doing here in the world, and then I'd love to share more about the frequency of Jewel and how that came to be in the changing of the spelling of my name really match the frequency that has risen. And so I'm the founder of the Heart Keys, and I Heart Keys, which are words of power. They are qualities of the heart. Been working with them for a lifetime, unbeknownst to me, really, and watched them come into form in the last few years. And now they are in full form as an oracle card deck called the Heart Keys, Jewels of Wisdom. And each and every card, I'll show them to you in a minute, but each and every heart key is here to unlock something in the heart, unlock what has been built around the heart. And each of these words of power hold a certain frequency that have the capacity to have us truly become a bridge between the key and the heart, between the heart and the mind, between the heart and the body and the mind, between heaven and earth, really. So, for instance, the heart key of compassion, or the heart key of receiving, or the heart key of peace, or trust. Each of these words of power are an entire field unto themselves. And so if I I do collective card readings on Instagram each week, and I do personalized card readings inside of my Heart Gate clearings. But if I draw a card intuitively, and if it is the card of peace, for instance, then that word of power comes alive in the field of our lived life experience. And so this is what I work with and how I work with people using these frequency tools. And if the heart key of peace is drawn, then we are not given instantaneous peace. We're not suddenly, we've drawn a heart key or a card of peace and suddenly we have more peace in our lives. What the heart key card of peace gives is a key to unlock the door to step into life and experience life with the opportunity of invoking more peace in our lives. So as a tangible example, if there is a conflict in a relationship, for instance, and we draw the heart key of peace, then that heart key becomes front and center in in the hard conversations, in the conflicting relationship, in the tension. And because the card is front and center, it gives us opportunity to point ourselves back to, what is a peaceful way of responding here? It points us back to the field of peace. And instead of perhaps resisting and arguing or whatever is going on as a human here in this difficult relationship, we're holding the relationship differently in a context of peace, and the energy, like the tangible and intangible and unseen energy of peace is now alive, and not only points us back to peace within ourselves, but as a result of that begins to generate peace within the relationship, and it begins to shift. So that's just an example of how a heart key that is drawn could work. And I've worked with these for years. And you can work with it, and they're compounding. And so if I had worked with, which I have, the heart key of peace 3 years ago, I'm still working with the heart key of peace, but it's become a part of who I am. So you become the heart key. You don't use it as a fix, as a key to unlock something and then now everything has shifted. You use it as a generative um, energy and a way to become a living, breathing, walking expression of peace or joy or trust. I've been working with the trust key forever since my late sister said to me when she was dying, Jewel, you have to trust the process. I have to trust it. I know I'm dying. I have to trust it. So trust has become a living, breathing key inside of me and continues to be a real living wisdom in me where I remember to come back to trusting in the divine orchestration of life when I forget, because I have this key that's already active in me. So these keys are this isn't just a deck of cards, of oracle cards. These are living, breathing frequencies that we get to work with. So as the founder of the Heart Keys, I am a mentor, a spiritual guide, an activator of light in people to activate the spark of truth and the spark of divinity within. And I have worked with so many people in my career. I was a career advisor for 20 years for the government. And so I've led thousands of people on career exploration journeys to meet themselves in a place where they are living on purpose, doing purposeful work in the world, and really coming forth with their highest expression of what they came here to be and do with the greatest gifts that they were given. And that's like the tangible piece. And I always say to clients, there is always the practical of let's look at what career is most aligned with you, and let's look at the energetics of what lives inside of what you're meant to do and be here. So, yeah, I've worked with many, many people in, everywhere from CEO, leadership, senior management who are leading and under a lot of pressure to someone who is a mother and leading her family and herself. And the through line across the board is that we are here to incorporate these keys in our leadership and in the way in which we live and live in the most fully expressed life so that we die wise at the end of it with no regrets and nothing that's left unexpressed or unsaid or unfinished. So that's what I do. Yeah.
Well, how beautifully you described this. I really loved it. And in the end, you said so that we can die wise. And because you also mentioned your latest sister that died, and she said to wake up. This really resonates with me because, as you know, my big brother and my only brother, my only sibling, he also died because of illness, and he wasn't able to speak to me with words because he also lost how to be verbal. He lost the eyelight and so many things. But I could feel his frequency, and still now, especially when I speak about him, I can feel his presence. When he died, I could hear, when I was speaking to his soul, he said to me, "Livia, I had to go because on the level of the ethers, I can be a better big brother than I would be now, in the wheelchair." And this really hit me because I still can feel our story is not over. He's still here as an angel, as a guide who gives me wisdom. And because of his death, I have this wisdom. I want to die wise because he showed me that time is, how do you say in English? With relative, time is relative, because we always say, yeah, you are so young, you have so much time. But because my brother died when he was 23 years old, so he was 5 years older than me, I know, wait a minute, I could literally die tomorrow. So I don't know. So this really, yeah, it was a gift of being more conscious, being more present with life.
Mhm.
So maybe you want to dive also if you want, because I know your sister's also connected to your heart keys, and then the other piece is
Yeah.
the beautiful pronunciation of your name.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, it's and I would love to share about that, and one of the things that, as you said, um, your brother is more available to you now with the streaming of wisdom, the infinite, the connected to the infinite intelligence, where in his human body, he may not. And I believe that as humans, we have a capacity for accessing wisdom, a fraction, until and unless we really tune into that infinite realm. And this is where I truly believe that, like, I so hear you. I feel like I have a greater depth of connection with my late sister than I ever did when she was alive.
Mm.
And she is actually on the front of this card deck.
Oh my gosh.
Yes,
Oh,
this is
wow.
Patricia, an image of her. And
Mm.
the energy that she now, and now is almost even limiting, because it's like across all time and space, she is part of a moving infinite energy that is shown here in her image, but her essence is in these heart keys. The timeless, spaceless essence of her heart has come into form and represented in this heart key deck, right on the cover, and beyond. Like everything that she is able to express through the channeled wisdom, through my voice, through these heart keys, through uh, other channels. I am sure of it. But this is her essence.
Mm.
And, I always think about how our voices are here, our expression is here to be a conduit for the wisdom that comes through. And for me to have I co created this with the divine, with God. But for me to have co created this is such a gift, because it's like bringing the intangible into form like this.
Mm.
And they're just so sacred and precious. Um, and so, yeah, she is on the front cover of the booklet and of the Oracle card deck. And, inside are contained these very beautiful, um, I just love them so much, these golden nuggets, jewels of wisdom. And there are 44 of them. There are 44 of them, and each and every one of them is so sacred. Each and every one of them has a message
Mm.
from the infinite intelligence of that which is part of the non-physical, your brother, my sister, all those who have passed, all those who've yet to come forth, all the ancestors. There's so much ancient wisdom that as humans, we don't conceptualize that we have access to. But I believe that part of your work too, this is what I sense too, but part of our work is as messenger and conduit, because we're willing to sit in the still, quiet place to access the messages and access the wisdom. And I think that is a skill. I wish that was a skill that was taught in schools, but it's not. The opposite is taught. Go hard, work hard, force forward, push, achieve. And that doesn't leave any room for this still place of awareness and pure connection with divine intelligence, which we all have access to. I believe we all have access to. So these are tools to open the gate and re-access what has always been here. So
beautiful. And to maybe add about your name.
So 4 years ago, I was sitting by the Christmas tree at Christmas. I was spending Christmas by myself that year. And I put up my tree and all the sparkling lights anyway. And I was, I was having all sorts of emotions around sadness and, memories and all of this. And I sat in this still place, and there was one in particular, twinkly light, this sparkling light on the tree that was golden, and that suddenly, like it was like this beam of light that literally just came right into me, and I was taken aback. And I started to cry, and they weren't tears of sadness because I was by myself. I started to cry with tears of like reverence for the light being reflected back to me. And a friend of mine years ago had given me jewel-toned Christmas decorations, a whole box of them, and I had never used them until that year. And these jewel, and then I started looking at the whole tree. Oh, I got shivers all the way. Like I started to look at the whole tree and saw all of these jewel-toned, beautiful, deep aquas and purples and fuchsias and golds, sparkling lights illuminating. It was like they were illuminating me, and I suddenly felt the jewels in me, and it dropped in really, really clearly. I am a jewel. And I've always believed that there is a treasure chest of jewels in all of us. And it became really clear that I was to become a reflection of those jewels within each of us by embodying it myself. And I heard, your name is Jewel. And that's where I changed the spelling of my name. So yeah. And they are truly, they're jewels of wisdom that we all have this treasure chest that's so tightly closed, that is just wanting to open. And how do we do that? We can do that in ways that we're open to. We can do that by opening to receive guidance and support. And so that's the story behind the jewel. Yeah.
Have you ever, there is I hope this is the correct pronunciation in English, from numerology? Yeah. Okay. Have you ever checked the difference of how you spelled your name first and after the change?
No,
Oh, okay.
but
I
that would
just
be
was
really
curious.
fascinating.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I just was
Yeah.
curious. Okay. So if you ever do it and you wanna send me a voice message, I'm curious if you wanna share it.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
we're both curious now, so
I love that. So I had this intuition to ask you instead of s- explaining your heart keys if you want to demonstrate them. So if you
Mm.
feel called, you could, if you want, pull a card for me. Just that people can sense what does this mean if you want to.
I'd be happy to do that. So I'm gonna shuffle them
Mm.
3 times, and what I'll do is I will lay them out in front of me, and once they're laid out, I'll let you know when I'll run my fingers across, and then I'll have you choose it, and you just let me know. You can say now, okay, stop, whatever, yes, however you want to do that. So let me just spread them out first across my table. Okay, are you ready?
I am.
Okay, I'm gonna close my eyes too, and I'm gonna begin now.
Stop.
Mm. Oh, I love this. I love every single card. I say that for every single card. You
Mm,
ready?
I am. Oh, embodiment. Your body is the sacred vessel through which energy becomes matter. Live as embodied wisdom and watch your world reflected. Oh my gosh. Wow. I mean,
There's
I mean,
just mm,
I'm I'm curious to hear what you feel to share when you feel the frequency. I mean, but if you know my human design, you know the 6-2, it's like, okay, yes, embodied wisdom. And I know this is right now what I am working on with devotion, that I really embody, that I'm not just a channel, because sometimes there comes so much wisdom through and I write it all down. But then I notice, yeah, it's not only about knowing the things, it's about really embodying it. And this is right now what I really do with intention, to just be
mm,
present. But
mm,
I'm open to what you now would share with me.
absolutely. Yeah. It's such a beautiful card. When I tune into you and your energy, I feel that what you impart, the expression, the words that come through you, come from a very deep core place in you, that they don't come from your head. And this is what you're being called to deepen into even more. And as a channel who receives a lot of wisdom, a lot of information, often, sometimes it can be difficult to know which piece of information is needing to come through. And I sense that it's your body that knows. It's your body that always guides exactly what needs to come through. And even the act of writing it down is a mental exercise. However, when it comes through your channel, it comes through your mind, it comes through your hands, it comes through the pen to the paper, it then comes alive. And the words themselves are the first layer, and underneath the words and the energy of the words and what comes from so deep in your heart and in the core of your being, it could be literally gibberish. It could be literally nonsensical what words you use, but it's the energy that lives in your body that begins to transmit the energy. And you have this beautiful gift and capacity for words, for language. And so it's bringing together, it's like I see you with this beautiful gift of bringing together your gift for language of the heart and language of the body, and weaving that together in a really embodied way. And I uh, spell embodied with an IN at the beginning often because it is embodiment. It is this expression that comes through the wisdom of your body that is really truly the power in your frequency. I can read to you what I co-wrote from this key, from the booklet. There it is. Would you like me to do that?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Would be a pleasure.
Embodiment is the bridge between knowing and becoming.
Mm.
This key invites you to live your truth through presence, action, and alignment. And I'm going to add, and the expression that comes through your voice. Become the frequency you seek, not in thought, but in every breath, step, choice you make. When your body holds your truth, your life becomes the living proof of it. Embodiment is where the sacred and your inner wealth becomes real. It's how your soul finds form. Woven through the breath, movement, and I know that I've seen you move. There's so much power in your movement, it speaks a language of its own. Woven through your breath, movement, and the choices that shape your everyday. This heart key invites you to bring your wisdom from the sky of the higher mind into the soil of your body, where the tone of your inner truth becomes lived somatic wisdom. You're here to become the heart frequency, and your body is the sacred vessel through which its energy becomes matter. So the intangibility of frequency has the capacity to become matter through your body, through your devotion to embodiment. When you live in embodied states, your life starts to reflect your inner truth in tangible, miraculous ways. Every time you live only in your mind, you block your medicine from landing informed. Embodiment is pure presence and what makes your true gifts and soul's purpose magnetic and alive, not because of what you say, but because of how deeply you live what you know. And this has been my experience of you, is you live what you know out loud, embodied. And it's just a beautiful gift for the world that you bring. So thank you.
Wow, it's incredible. I feel so incredibly seen on every level. So, I mean, what a beautiful demonstration of what you actually do.
Mhm.
And before you even read your booklet, what you said before, I have to re-listen. You said something. Just recently found gene keys, and I was a little bit checking my gene keys, and you said the exact thing that my gene keys said. So yeah, about my body. That's it's in my body. So wow, thank you so much for giving an insight.
Welcome. You're so welcome. I truly like every single time I do a reading for someone or a collective reading, it's the exact It's the divine intelligence, and, it just can't, you can't get it wrong. There's always such a powerful and relevant message for each and every one of us. So thank you for receiving that, asking.
Yeah, oh, wow. There is a lot of medicine in it, also, what's interesting, when I first, like, read something in an oracle deck, like, now your, with embodiment, then the first impulse from the mind when it's connected to something is in lack, something is in fear, then it's like, oh, I have to do this. But then when I go to my balance, to faith, to trust, and it's like what you also said in the end, that this is what I already do and I can deepen. So it's also interesting from from which angle we receive, or we read the message, the wisdom. Was also interesting for me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, there are, we have so many intelligences within us that are underutilized,
Mm,
and really tapping into these intelligences and the subtle bodies of intelligence, which is this is the inner somatic work. It's the inner somatic methodology. But when we bring excuse me, all of these intelligence into coherence and
mm,
harmony,
mm,
we can deepen and we can access, like you say, all of these different layers excuse me, in a way that is, is flowing like the rivers, you
mm,
know? There's just so much. We're made of water, so the rivers of our consciousness want to be flowing, and the only way that they fully flow is when we bring these parts of ourselves
mm.
together, you know?
And what we also experience now is it's something else to have an oracle deck at home and just do it by itself, and you are now the author, the co-creator of this deck, and to not only have you read the message, but also to receive from you as a mentor what you sense is so powerful. So maybe I don't know how you do it right now in your work, but if someone wants to work with the heart keys, is do they receive the deck when they work with you?
Mhm,
Do you want to
mhm.
speak a little bit about this when someone is listening to this episode and feels I have to work with Jewel and those with this deck? How is
Mm.
this going to happen?
I love that you said this because I am very, very committed to these heart keys being utilized in a very sacred way. And you are 100% correct. There is the physical deck, and there is the transmission that comes through the divine messaging, and there is the guidance, and there is the support. So what I am doing is I have what is called a heart gate clearing session, and that is a session that is extremely powerful, where you receive your personalized heart key reading inside of the heart gate clearing, where we dissolve the walls of armor around the heart that have locked the heart
Mm,
closed. And the key unlocks what is in the heart. We open the heart, and the heart key can then be utilized, and you receive guidance. You receive the deck, you receive a heart gate clearing session, and you receive follow-up guidance in order to really understand how to use these keys for yourself, because you've had an experience of it and you've received the frequencies of your dedicated initial key. So yes, that is how a person would work with the deck, work with the heart keys. And of course, these heart gate clearing sessions are available on my link tree and all over, but that is the entry point for utilizing the deck because it is not just another oracle deck.
I
So it's
love this. I
yeah.
love this. Oh, so beautiful. So, do you feel called, do you feel there is still something to be shared, to be said before we would go into the end of this conversation? Because to end, I love to ask you if there would be one thing you want to share with, if you just had just one thing to share with the world, what that would be. But before we go there, is there something you feel wants also to be heard in this episode?
Yes, that as human beings, and this has, of course, been my own personal experience and, how I've come to understand and know and truly hold this as sacred truth in me is that our life experiences that are difficult, that are challenging, that cause deep pain, whether it's from loss or change, every single human experience that is given to us on behalf of our evolution is here in service of bringing us back to the heart because we've been conditioned to be cautious, build walls, stay safe, measure up, make sure that we're doing it right or pleasing others or fulfilling others' expectations or measuring up and underneath all of that there is this fear that life is going to end and we do everything in our power to avoid that when it is unavoidable. It is a natural part of the human lived experience, not unlike the natural life cycle of leaves on a tree that fall at the end of their life cycle in the autumn, fall to the ground, regenerate, become part of the soil, and then rebirth again in the spring. So there's a constant cycle of birth, death, birth, renewal, death, birth, renewal, dissolving, death. And so why I think that this is so important is that while we're here on earth, instead of being so afraid that it's going to all end one day, because we've been trained to understand that there's something wrong with that we're going to miss out on something. Why can we not, and this is an invitation, rather, can we live each and every moment of this precious lifetime, including the hard things? Can we navigate through with emotional courage? Can we navigate through with heightened conscious heart communication when there's hard conversations with ourselves, with others? Can we come back to the heart to engage in these conversations, engage in change, engage in uh, dealing with loss through conversations of the heart, through being able to bring ourselves back to an open heart? Can we keep our heart open and die wise as a result because we know that we have lived a life so fully expressed, communicating from the heart, navigating change with the emotional courage, and sit in our last moments and say, that was really a wonderful ride. And all the mistakes I may have made were only detours, and they were part of the path. And so can we stop judging ourselves? Can we have compassion for our mistakes? Can we come to be at peace with our lives and everything that's come before now in terms of the things we think we did wrong in our lives, or that we wish we had done differently because then it would have been better? Understanding that every single detour was a part of pointing us right back to the heart and deepening our reverence and our connection to and with the truth of the infinite intelligence and the infinite states of being that we are beyond the body. Like your brother and my sister did not disappear. Their bodies stopped working properly and they changed form. That is my belief, is that we simply, our soul, our essence changes form. And it is part of the universal heartbeat of all that is, of the trees, the leaves, the wind, the ocean, the clouds, and it all exists at once.
I don't want to say something. I just want to leave it here so that we can feel it. It's so beautiful. So that being said, for those who are listening, thank you so much for being here. You will find every details and links where you can find Jewel and work with Jewel in the bio of this episode. So thank you so much, Jewel, for this wisdom and your frequency. It was truly an honor to have you here in this moment of time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for staying until the very end. It is truly an honor that you've shared your time with me. I hope with all my heart that this episode has inspired you, awakened something within you, or allowed something in you to gently heal or transform. And if someone comes to mind who would enjoy this episode, I would be so grateful if you share it. One of my greatest dreams is for this podcast to touch many, many hearts. If you want to explore my world, how you can work with me as a coach, mentor, or healer, follow me on Instagram at fulloflife or liviawerner.coachmentor. All links are in the show notes of this episode. I'm also on Facebook and YouTube, and I would love to connect with you there. That way, you won't miss any offers that might be just right for you. Or you can simply enjoy being part of the Full of Life community. Because this is my vision, my dream, that we allow ourselves to be fully alive and allow ourselves to dream. That's it. Thank you for being here, for walking this journey with me, for remembering with me to embody our truest selves. Thank you.